Well, usually I don't have to do this, but here I will be emphasizing repeatedly for YouTube this is fair use commentary. These are allegations. I am not in any way stating these as actual facts yet. This is commentary made for the purposes of fair use to describe and comment on a controversy. All right, with that legalism out of the way, what is the dilemma? Well, Rabbit, for a while now, has been a very active commentator in the anti Scientology sphere. And like most people, I just assumed, okay, she's just rebranding. She's a legit journalist, and she does repeatedly say this. She has a degree in social work, and she's just an additional voice. She was never in Scientology, but she is friends with Aaron Smith Levin, literally the biggest YouTuber discussing anti Scientology. And I assumed good faith. Yes, there's some problems here, but basically she's legit. And apparently, no, she's not legit. It's all fake. It is very, very false image she's putting out. And we're going to explore some of the falseness. Again, some of these allegations are weaker, some are stronger. So I want to be careful where we definitely know things and where we don't know things. So, what is the basic dilemma? Well, Rabbit says she's standing up for all survivors, all victims of cults, and that she's maintaining consistency. And a few months ago, she put out a video with Miriam Francis, who nobody denies she is a victim, but it seemed like a very partisan attack on Mike Rinder, who, again, it is legitimate. He has a very shaky past because he was the head of OSA within Scientology. He left the church decades ago and became a big critic, but I have legitimate criticisms, and again, Miriam can have legitimate criticisms. Even Rabbit can have legitimate criticisms. But it just seemed overall they were really skewing information, and they were promising they had very strong evidence of wrongdoing. But so far, nothing too much has emerged, and they injected themselves into another controversy with another victim. And from reliable sources, the victim did not authorize them to use that information, but they used it anyway. So this is getting into some very tricky legal territory because Rabbit is a social worker. She has to abide by certain ethical guidelines, and her past shows she's not doing that. And why do I say this? Well, there's a black YouTuber called Charisma, and it's not just her, but they've had dealings
Laughing,
with
they were
Rabbit.
making fun, stalking me. They thought all that was funny. But meanwhile, her man has been in jail for putting his hands on somebody, and that was a felony assault. So it's just interesting how this stuff plays out. You know what I mean? Um, and also, y'all know that I survived the cult. DO
Some of these allegations appear to be true, no question there, but some appear a little weaker, maybe, maybe not. So, what are the allegations? One, Rabbit is a racist. Apparently, she did a lot of spicy content on black people and, quote, black controversies. And Rabbit herself is, as far as I know, Latina or Hispanic American. And yes, she is in an interracial relationship, but as far as I know, her husband does not claim to be African American. So some people tried to defend her, saying, well, she has a black husband. Well, it gets even more troublesome because apparently her husband has been charged and even spent jail time over possibly hurting someone. So that's very shocking. Two, that Rabbit has used her position to silence critics, including these black YouTubers. And Charisma has stated for the record, she tried to go after her channel for exposing Rabbit. And Rabbit has, again, a lot of evidence there from another black YouTuber. However, interestingly, that black YouTuber does not charge her with racism, but she did provide evidence that basically Rabbit kind of created this troll factory, having like these 10 identities to go after people and to try to take down their channels, kind of steal their ideas, and refashion her own channel. On top of all this, that Rabbit is definitely a hypocrite. Why do I say this? Because Charisma claims to be the survivor of a cult. Now, we're going to double check everyone's stories. If that is true, that is pretty shocking. So, some of these black YouTubers are themselves victims of a cult, but Rabbit still went after them and even tried to use their criminal records to destroy their credibility. But when Mike Rinder and his allies tried to go after Rabbit, they were saying, well, that's illegitimate. You can't use that information. Anyway, it's not relevant. But in her own case, Rabbit, through her network and through allies, has tried to destroy the credibility of her critics and invoke their criminal record. But what about her husband's criminal record? Can we talk about that? No. Can we talk about her public identity, even though she is allegedly a licensed social worker? No. So it seems like we have alarmingly double, triple standards where Rabbit with Miriam, Aaron, Serge, and Nora can lobby these incredible accusations, but when they get challenged, they start pulling the race card, saying, oh, you're a racist. You're a homophobe. Oh, you're destroying victims. You're blaming the victim. You don't really stand with survivors. All these charges can be lobbied against Rabbit. And in her main channel and in her second channel, she's not telling the whole truth. She's putting out a very false image of who she is and her past record. Now, we're going to double check people's stories, but even if a fraction of this is true, this is pretty shocking. This is pretty shocking. So it seems like it is what it is. She, with these other people, Miriam, Aaron, Nora, and Serge, have created this propaganda network and propaganda machine. Now, to be fair, to be absolutely fair, I don't know if Miriam, Serge, and Nora are aware of Rabbit's racism, her hypocrisy, or the criminality that she's tried to pull off. We don't know that. However, it is hard to believe that Aaron Smith Levin, the biggest YouTuber, is not working behind the scenes with Rabbit and is not aware of some of these facts and doesn't care. So it's all very alarming. We're going to look more into this, but at this point, Rabbit's credibility is utterly destroyed because she is just not who she claims to be, and she's using some very bad reasons to, quote, invoke people's private information, but in her own case, she doesn't allow it because apparently she's special. Well, no, she's not. But again, fair use commentary. These are allegations. We're going to have to do more double checking, but it is very, very alarming all the way through.